Greetings, friends. Dr. Mark, Coach Mark here on Mind the Business That Pays You. I'm very excited today. I have with me a dear friend, the Queen of the East. How you doing, Queen?
I am doing amazing. How are you, Dr. Mark?
I'm fantastic. Now, before we get started off, I just got one question I need you to answer for me.
Tell me.
All right, you ready for that question?
What's the question? Tell me. You know I'm always ready.
What is it that you do? Okay, what is it that you do and what makes you great at it?
Listen, my name is Dr. Shavonna Herron-Johnson by way of Raleigh, North Carolina. I am the Queen of the East, and I help individuals rise, reign, and lead, meet their maximum potential, and I get them to their success.
All right, Queen, you froze up a little bit, but I'm gonna ask you to do that one more time for me.
My name is Dr. Shavonna Herron-Johnson by way of Raleigh, North Carolina. And when I tell you that I help individuals rise, reign, and lead to meet their capacity and reach their level of success, I help ones that may feel that they can't get to their next level. I push them along their journey to hit where they need to be.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So let me jump right in here. I want to ask you about your journey to leadership because one thing that I really appreciate about you since the day we met is that you are extremely transparent and you put in your information that you were a teen mother and you dropped out of high school. I want to know from you, what were some of the pivotal moments that shaped your leadership style based on that background?
Man, so let me tell you, I had one daughter in the 10th grade and one in 12th. And it was like I had to find my next because I had to take care of babies. I was trying to figure out school. So I made the best decision that I could at that time. And I left school to go and get my certification as a nursing assistant in Long Island. And I obtained my first job as a CNA at Stony Brook University Hospital. Well, shortly after that, my husband and I, we moved to North Carolina. And that's when I transitioned into real estate. And it's been rocking and rolling ever since. But also prior to getting into real estate, I did go back and get my high school diploma with what's the name of that college? Wakefield Community College. Yeah, right here in Raleigh. And from there, I've just been building career and success ever since. But I had to put what I knew to do best, and that was my family first. And then, of course, unfortunately, as a mom, we always come second, right? And then that's when I went back to indulge in my education after.
That's fantastic, Queen. So tell me this, in terms of vision and resilience, how did your faith and resilience contribute to your vision in both your personal and professional life?
Well, listen to me. One thing I know is you can take 30 no's for one yes. So that's resilience right there. When you have the drive to keep pushing, no matter how many doors that you knock on and you get those no's, you may feel discouraged. You may feel like, man, when is my time coming? But if you continue and you be persistent and consistent, when that door actually opens, you better walk in there like God sent you because that's what you held on so long for.
I'm gonna tell you, Queen, I'm a little I can't say salty, but work with women, and that's your thing. But what about us, man? What about the guys? Can we grab on a little bit of this wisdom? What can we
Oh my
do?
goodness, of course. So as you can see, I have on the Rise, Reign, Lead shirt here where we empower connections, and that is for women and men. I teach on the Rise, Reign, Lead platform every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And we talk about building business. We talk about branding your business. We talk about taking your where you are, taking you to the next level. But not only that, also have a one-on-one coaching program where I teach individuals who are looking to get in real estate investing. I teach you and I work with you one on one, and I pair you with the agent that you feel comfortable with. And we all three of us work together as a team. And then I also bring in the contractors to help you do your flips or do your buy and holds. So I'll tell you, I work with men too, but Women Will Win Global, that is just for women.
Your heart is with the women, but you make a little space for us knuckleheads. That's what I hear you saying.
Everybody
I love it.
covered.
I love it. You got it covered. So, women empowerment, as the creator of the Queen of the East mentorship cohort, what key qualities do you believe are essential for women to develop in order to become passionate leaders?
Well, let me tell you something. The first quality is to believe. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the dream. You have to know that you have to be able to press forward in order to get to your level of success. So it's almost like it starts with the person, the individual, but you can't just get to the middle of a situation and feel like just because you came to one roadblock that this vision is not for you. You have to be able to press past your pain. So my goal is always to work with them at a minimum of a year, going into 2 to 3 years. And what I like to do is just help them see that you can walk through and birth this baby.
Okay. Now, Queen, as we're talking, I want you to, you see where your name is? I want you, if you can, to type in your website there, how people can reach you. But if you don't see how to do that, I just want you to tell the audience what your website is.
So if they go to queenoftheeast.com, they will be able to locate me, queenoftheeast.com. And they can also go on all social media platforms, Shavonna Herron-Johnson, and they'll find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And I'll be more than glad to connect with all.
Wow. So that's one that I will never forget. Queen of the East.
Queen of
I love it. I love it. Let me ask you something about leadership in real estate. What unique challenges do you face as a woman leading in the real estate industry, and how do you overcome them?
Let me tell you, I think because of my personality in real estate, I don't really have too much pushback. I get a lot of pushback when it comes to the construction side of things, where the guys, they're like, how does she know this? How does she know a stud is every 16 inches off center? How does she know that we need to, change this breaker out to get this? So I go through a lot of challenges from that standpoint. But on the real estate side, the only challenges that we face is economic, teaching investors how to invest in their generational wealth and building their legacy. And then you have gotten them so pumped up. And then you have, like, the government shutdown. And then you have all these changes in the economy where people are scared to indulge, into real estate. And so now I feel like sometimes their momentum, it goes down because of the economy. So that's where I see challenges in the real estate standpoint, from a real estate standpoint, when I'm teaching investors how to invest, and then we deal with economic delays.
So you just hit on something. Let me understand this. You have a real estate company that you run and a construction company. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You a bad queen of the East. You know,
So I'll tell you, so some of my clients, they're on the stock market, they're real estate, they're REIT investors. And what I do with them is I help them acquire their acquisitions and dispositions. Once they acquire them through their preferred realtor, we go ahead and we get them ready to go on the market. A lot of them rent all of their units out. And then I also help them when it comes to maintaining the dwelling. So we handle their occupied maintenance as well. We also help single investors who are not in REIT systems. We help them also build their real estate portfolio. And through that, I assist them with acquiring the property. After we acquire it, I send the construction team in to do the reno. Once we do the reno, if they're going to hold it, I transfer them over to my property management team. And if they're going to sell it, we go ahead and we put it back out on the market. And then we start that process all over again.
so you also have a property management firm.
So within our real estate firm, we have a property management division.
Wow. Talk about full service.
Well, that's
I
so, and
love
I'll
it.
tell you, back in the day, I would call it one call does it all. When you call here, you don't want to have people going here and going there. You want a concierge service, one that can assist someone with all of their needs, being able to supply them with, because you can never persuade someone who to do business with, but at least give them the option to. They may have a friend that's a property manager. They may have a husband that's a contractor, but you at least want to have all of those services in house so that you can make sure that you're maintaining and giving the best quality service as possible.
So I also believe that I read that you are not only the queen of the East, but you were in a pageant in North Carolina. What's going on as far as pageantry down there that you have going on?
Goodness, let me tell you, Miss Corporate America. I am the state president for Miss Corporate America, North Carolina. I took position in Miss Corporate America in April of 2025. This year, 2026, I am overseeing 8 ladies, and we will be running our first competition this year. And I'm very thoroughly excited for all of my queens. We have run some great initiatives within the community. They stay very in touch with the community. So I'm really, really excited. For Thanksgiving, we were able to feed 37 families. And for Christmas, we gave over 200 Christmas presents to children.
Wow. So So if people are interested in that Miss Corporate America, is the queen of the east.com is a good portal to get to as well?
Yes, they can go there, and from there, they'll be able to click on the drop down and they'll see a Miss Corporate America tab.
Okay. So another thing that you talk about that I think is very important is financial empowerment. And all of these things that we've talked about kind of lead into that. But when you speak about financial empowerment for women, what advice do you offer to women who feel uncertain about their financial literacy or uncertain about investing in real estate?
Well, I always tell them, and I meet them where they are, Mark, understanding because all of us were not raised the same when it comes to finances. Some of us didn't know about credit. Some of us still, believe it or not, even in adult age, age appropriate, where you would think that one would know about credit and finances and knowing the difference between the FICO scores, where you have a mortgage score, you have a home score, you have, a credit card score. A lot of people don't know the difference between those scores. So I start from the actual bottom, helping them understand what credit is, how credit helps to build your generational wealth, and then pairing it also with finances, when you should have bills paid, paying before the statement date, making sure that there's no late, making sure that your credit worthiness is a piece of your generational wealth. Also making sure that you know that there are a such thing as jumbo loans, there's CDs, there's all the great things out there that you can invest in to generate your generational wealth. And then when it comes to real estate, I find the best deals for them to make sure that they're coming in under the 70% ARV so that they can reap the benefits. And then also guiding them and letting them know that a buy and hold is your longevity, but when you do a fix and flip, that's money right now. So I give them the understanding between the two because you may flip 5 houses, in 2 years or maybe a year, and you take that money and then you start investing in your buy and holds. But you want to buy and hold in areas where, trends and markets are going up. They're bringing things to the area. That way that drives up your interest, in investment in the property that way. And then when it's time to cash out, you can do a 1031 exchange, to protect those capital gains, or we can go ahead and cash out and invest in something different. Because we also know that everyone's passion today, 10 years from now is not that passion. But guess what? If you held that property for 10 years and market values have went up, your equity has went up, and now we need to reposition you to now take those funds and dollars and invest in something else. But I try to come at them so that they know don't spend all of your money on self gratification, but that we have to build our brands to to help it last for a legacy.
Look, one of my Um, and I don't have that many, but one of my regrets as a real estate investor is that I went in to the game with my mind fixed that I was a buy and holder.
Hmm.
And what that did was a really sweet market swept through Baltimore where I could have sold my portfolio, gotten back in later cheaper, and made millions of dollars. So that's a regret I had. But so the question that I want to pose to you so that people won't have that problem that I had is how do you talk to your clients or how do you advise your clients about how they should enter the market and the possibility of being flexible about changing their position as market dictates?
That is a perfect question because I was actually speaking with a new investor just 2 days ago. And as I was explaining to her, go in it with an open mind. Be creative when you're getting into the real estate industry as an investor. If a good flip comes around, let's hop on the flip. If a buy and hold comes around, let's do that. If you have someone that may want to, pair and do creative financing, you may want to invest in someone else's deal and make some money from that arena. But don't go in closed minded, open to everything, closed to nothing. Because again, the market changes and it shifts, and we just have to be ready for those shifts. But if you go in it, like you said, I'm going to be a buy and hold, whereas I could have, like you said, I come in and if I was open minded, I could have did some flips and then we could have made some money on the back end. But when you're closed minded, you don't know and you leave yourself out of a lot of the game
So we have to be flexible and your
at all
programs
times.
take that into account.
Yes.
Excellent.
Even
So
me, I'm
let
very
me ask this because
flexible.
okay. So let me ask you this because I think it's important and I think it's really kind of how we met. The impact of mentorship. How can you discuss the significance of mentorship in your career and how it can influence the next generation of leaders?
Well, I'll tell you, we're never too big to learn. We have to be open minded. And one thing I know that a coach, I have two coaches, right? And they come from different angles. You know, one may be in real estate, one is in leadership. So it's very important that you have a coach on your team because what that coach does is you bounce ideas off of one another. They can set you, they may have an expertise in a certain area that can elevate you and your platform and your business. So me having mentors is very important to me. I even have a spiritual mentor. She's out of Atlanta, Georgia, just to keep me and my confidence and my spirituality where it needs to be. It's important. So I would eager and encourage all women and men to make sure that they have a great mentor in their community, in their circle of influence. It's very important to have that mentorship and guidance.
That's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned spirituality because I wanted to touch on that. And what I want to know is in our industry, in the speaking industry where you and I met, in the real estate industry where you and I plan to work together in the future, in all of these industries, you have a certain amount of gatekeepers.
Yes.
And when you have these gatekeepers, you can waste a lot of time and money because sometimes it benefits people to keep you in their space to get money off of you instead of graduating you to where you should be. How have you personally dealt with that if you've experienced it? And how would you coach people through that?
Well, I'll tell you. So I've experienced it. This is a really quick, great story. So I'll go back to sitting on site as a property manager back in 2008. I want to say it was either 8 or 9. My supervisor, she was going for her caps just as well as I, which is a certification as a portfolio supervisor. I never wanted her position, but because she felt like if I got that certification, I was equal with her. She told the HR department that she did not want to be in class with her subordinate. So what they end up doing was sending me to class in Greensboro, North Carolina when the class was being taught 10 minutes from my house. So I have been in positions where people have tried to hold me down. But again, in those arenas, guess what I did? I drove to Greensboro because I wasn't going to be stopped and the company was paying for it. And then after that, I set out to what my expectation and what I was going to do. And at that point, I went ahead and opened up my firm, my company. So don't stop just because someone tries to block you. You have to always pivot and follow what's for you, but also always go with your gut instinct. You know when someone's trying to block your blessing.
And the reason that you kind of led me there, that was not one of my questions initially. But when you said you have a spiritual mentor, a lot of people don't have the foresight or the insight to
Mhm.
have both targeted mentorship in the field that they're in, but
Mhm.
also say, wait a minute, I got to keep my
Spirit.
spiritual
Yeah.
eyes open as well. And which is really more important
Yes.
because you get to hear from the one on high, so I
Mhm.
applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Yes, yes. Let me ask you this. It's bold to declare yourself as the queen of the East, and I wanna know, what does it mean to you to be the queen of the East, and how does this influence your approach to leadership and community involvement?
Well, I'll tell you, and thank you so much for asking me that. I know that my purpose is to help other individuals rise, reign, and lead. And so, as the Queen of the East, and ever since I've taken the name and the crown, behind the name and the crown, it is my fiduciary responsibility to make sure that I help others rise, reign, and lead. So, with that, I just make sure that I always put my best foot forward. My crown is always straight. My cup is full, and it's yield to the ones that I can help reach their success as long as they want to be helped.
Amen. Amen. This is something that I think is they're gonna get me for saying this, but I gotta go ahead and go there. This is what I'm feeling. It's just more important to women than men because men get the flow a little bit. I want to talk to you about balancing roles as a businesswoman, mother, and wife. How do you balance your multiple roles and maintain your passion for leadership?
Wow. So, and thank you again for asking that because it is a lot when you are looked up to and looked upon from everyone, from your husband, from your team and your staff, to your clients and your family, right? So, I'm a mother of six. One of my son, he passed away, born, stillborn. But I have to make sure that I take time out for all five of my living children. I have to take time out for my husband, but I also have to give time to all of my employees and my clients. And the way that we do that is we work as a team. You know, my husband, he helps pick the children up from school. You know, the days that he's off, he gets them to school. When he has to be in, at his place of employment, I make sure that I take them. My father, he helps around the house. My assistants, they help where they can. So it's ultimately making sure that you have the right support system to help you be the person that you are. So I don't do all of this alone, but I do it with my team and with my pack, with my community support that supports and believes in my vision. And I would suggest that everyone has a support system that believes in them, that they see the vision, because when someone can see your vision, they believe in you and they help you without draw, where they're not saying, oh, I just did this for you yesterday. You know, they're not throwing those words at you, but they're there to assist you.
You know, with you wearing so many hats, and I can personally say because I get to work with you and see you, not only do you wear the hats, but you wear each of them with excellence.
Oh, thank you.
And it seems like that's your only hat to those who are in that particular space. So I guess what I want to ask is how do you prioritize personal care in getting rest? Excuse me, getting the rest that you need to stay on top of your game for the rest of us.
Would I tell you I have to take time, downtime. I have to take mental time for myself, blocking, and it's called time blocking and SMART goals. Making sure that you have a SMART goal system to make sure that you get everything done that you need to get done, not overbooking yourself, not so that you're not burning out. And so I call that the SMART goal system. And in that SMART goal system, you have to make sure that you take time for you.
Wow. So let me just kind of zero in a little bit. Are you telling me, telling us that you block time off on your calendar for rest and for self care?
Yes. Oh, yes. And I make sure that I take plenty of time to rest, whether I'm on a vacation or I'm just merely going to get my nails and feet done, or whether I want to just get a massage. But yes, I do make sure that I have time to get all of that done. Yes, sir.
That is awesome. Now, let me ask you this because there's so many facets to your story that I'm trying to cover a few, but there's no way we can get to all of them. But let me ask you about this: the Global Academy vision. With the launch of the Global Academy, what are some of the most important lessons you aim to impart to women looking to build their careers?
My goodness. So in the Women Will Win Global, we have 52 lessons that I have contoured towards building their brands, helping them to align it with their visions, to helping them get there. So in that, we have the 52 lessons, but we also have different groups where I want them to partner with like-minded people to do business globally, to have a sisterhood globally. So that's what Women Will Win is all about. It's a sisterhood where each woman comes together, meet like minds, and we build together.
Wow. I got to tell you, I'm in awe at how you can have so many initiatives. I'm going to liken it to spinning plates. You got so many plates spinning, but yet you find time to think of other initiatives. How do you, we talked about your personal time and the fact that you have a spiritual mentor and you actually calendar time off, but in terms of, do you have a muse? Do you have anyone that you bounce ideas off of to say, does that make sense? How does that work?
Do and I like so I first of all, I have a really one of my business partners, we are like Bonnie and Clyde. And so I'm like, does that sound right? You think that's gonna work? And I'm one, even if it don't work, I'm gonna try it. That's just me. I'm gonna try it until it's broke. If it ain't, I have to physically try it and then say, okay, I tried it. It didn't work and it's fine. I don't look at that as a failure, but when I think of a vision and I have that vision, call it birthing the baby, I'm going to birth the baby. And if it doesn't work, then we'll move on to do something else. But at least I tried it. But yes, I do. my business partner in India, I bounce a lot of ideas back and forth. She's like my go-to for my ideas. And she said, girl, you are crazy doing all the things. I said, we moving in the fast lane this morning.
I love it. Now let me ask you this. I'm being led to kind of double back a little bit because there is someone out there,
Mhm.
excuse me, they are pregnant, they just dropped out of school, they don't know which way is up. And as someone who has been in that space, tell me what is the first thing that you would counsel them to do?
Make sure that they're mentally ready, make sure that they're taking care of the baby. And then after the baby, we've made sure that the baby is healthy and secure. And they're in a position, go back. Let's get back in school. Let's get enrolled. Let's build out a plan, whether it's a 12-month goal plan, SMART goals, and then what does a 24 SMART goal? Let's start building, but we have to come up with the plan, not just say, girl, go back to school. No, it's so what's the plan? We got to first, the baby's healthy. Now, what does it look like for you going back to school? Do we have childcare in place? Do we have all these things in place so that you can now go back and focus on what you need to do to be able to build a life for the baby? So I would definitely start with
Mhm.
building out and setting your goals before just jumping right back into school. You ever see someone, they go to school and what they went to school for is not even the field that they're working in? That just seems like because that at
Most
that
people.
that time, that's what I thought was good. That's what my mother said I should do, or that's what statistics say I should have done. Because my mom's a doctor, I should have become a doctor. Because my father's an engineer, I should become an engineer. Because my father was a basketball player, I should be a basketball player. But we have to find and make goals for what makes sense for you. That way we're not wasting time.
Okay. I'm gonna
And
ask you a
can I
two-part
say one more
question.
thing? One more thing I wanted to add.
Please do. Yes.
Success doesn't mean you did everything right. Success means
Amen.
that whether you went to the right or to the left, but you still ended up at your goal. You're not in competition with anyone. So there's no right or wrong way to get to your success. You may have to go through 10 tunnels before you get to your success, but it's okay as long as you've reached the level of elevation of where you desire to be. But Mark's success does not look like Shavonna's success. Shavonna's success does not look like Barbara's success. We all came from different walks of life. We were all brought up differently as a child in our own homes. So there's no way that you can say that there's a right or wrong way. We just have to find the way.
You know, you remind me of something that John Maxwell said. He said, be careful as you're climbing the ladder of success, be careful that you don't get to the top and you find out you're on the wrong wall.
You're on the wrong wall. You follow me? You done did. And you're like, what did I do?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you this. This is an unfair question,
Mhm.
but it's a curiosity I have, and I'm sure that others have. And so I'm gonna give you the latitude to not answer part A and answer part B, but I'm gonna give you both. Okay. So part A is, and I'll give part A a shot, but I really can't do it effectively because I wasn't in the situation. So part A is, what support or role did the father of your child when you were pregnant as a teen play? That's part A. And then part B is, what do you wish he had done as somebody looking back on that situation?
So listen, I'm going to answer part A and part B. So getting pregnant
Okay.
at 16, having my first daughter at 21. The part that was played was mutual because I've been dating my husband since I was 12 years old. He was 17. We're still together and we've raised all of these children together. He worked and provided as he still does. And also, while I was in high school trying to bury my way through all of that, he would make sure that he would drop me off at school. He would drop the baby off at daycare and then he would go to work. And then when I got pregnant the second time, he would do the same. He would drop me off at work. He would take the two babies to daycare and then he would go to work. So we're still together. We're in 31 years together and 21 years married. I
Awesome.
wouldn't say, yeah, that was a fault. He has been a stand-up father to our children and a humongous support system to me, since our inception in a relationship.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just think that it's so many people that uh, end up in situations because I very easily could have been, you know, in your husband's
Mhm,
shoes. It's just that it didn't go that way.
mhm,
And I think that's the true of a lot of people. So
mhm,
I thank you for answering that question.
mhm.
Now let me ask you this:
A lot of
with
people
all
say,
this that
"Wow."
the Queen of the East, I'm sorry, say again.
No, I was saying a lot of individuals, they say, "Wow, you guys really do have a love story." I say, "Yeah, my grandmother used to say, you got Ooga Bear and Booger Bear. We've been together longer than we both." You know what I'm saying? Ooga Bear and Booger Bear. Mhm.
Hey, I get it. I've been Booger Bear for 35 years.
Yeah,
I met my wife in at Hampton University, and we've been on the battlefield together ever since.
ever since. That's it. That's it. That's it.
I love it. I love it. Let me ask you this, Queen. Future aspirations. Well, before I ask you that, I'm involved in something that you have coming up in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm probably yeah, you know, I'm going to be involved in print. I'm still
Yes.
not traveling yet, but talk to us about that.
Oh my goodness. So this year we're on the Rise Tour. And what the Rise Tour consists of is, again, helping everyone rise, reign, and lead. And through that, one of our stops this year is going to be San Francisco. And you are in our own magazine, the Rise, Reign, Lead magazine. I'm so excited. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for your continued support to push the initiative out to your circle of influence. It really means a lot.
Yes.
And we're going to be there Super Bowl Media Week. And we have a beautiful couture panel teaching about real estate, about mental health, about physical health. We're going to be talking about generational wealth and how can you build legacy if you don't have generational knowledge. So we have Dr. Joaquin Wallace, who's going to be on that panel talking about generational wealth. We have a really nice lineup. So that's where the Rise, Rain, Lead tour came from, talking about my life and how I went from humble beginnings to being this mogul that I am, helping individuals rise, reign, and lead, living my purpose. And my purpose is to see all rise.
I love it. I love it. And I know that that's going to be an incredible initiative. And I applaud you again for taking that on.
Thank you.
And so before I go to my final question, I just want to ask you, is there anything that's on your heart that you'd like to say to the Mind the Business That Pays You audience?
Say, and I really want everyone to hear me with an open ear and an open heart. Follow your dream. Don't let nothing stop you. Every vision that you have is for an appointed time. Though it may be delayed, it is surely to come if you steadfast and if you press forward. But if you give up in the middle, you'll never know how far you could have gotten. So mind the business that pays you. And that is to pay attention to who you are, how you serve, and how you give back within your community and your circle of influence. Be the one that you are always lifting others up. Don't ever be the one that always has your hand out.
Wow, that is tremendous. Now, we're going to bring it all home here. I just want to ask you, in terms of future aspirations, looking ahead, what does the Queen hope to live through? I'm sorry, hope to leave through her work and legacy? What would you like to be? How would you like to be remembered?
When it's all said and done, I first want God to say, of course, well done, right? But I want to my name to ring bells to where people say, I remembered her and she did right by me. She helped me, she supported me, she lifted me. And along this journey, even while I'm here, what I would like to see, let's not talk about later, but let's talk about now. I just want to see all individuals in a position to where they are not just living and striving to be the best, but that they really reach their true potential and level of success and level of comfortability. You have some people, as we said earlier, who have doctorate degrees, who have their nursing license, they've engineer license, and they're still not fulfilled. They're not happy. And so with the Rise, Reign, Lead, I want them to come out of where they feel defeated and that they're just going to these establishments for a paycheck, but they're actually happy in what they do. So that's what I want to be
Incredible.
remembered by.
Incredible, incredible. I want to thank you so much for taking this time out of your busy schedule. I know a lot of times you and I check on each other and it's like, we'd be like, okay, I'm gonna call you right back. I got, this one over here. So I know that this was a sacrifice for you to take the middle of this day. And so I just want to give you a heartfelt thanks for sharing
You
with
are
our
more
audience.
than welcome. And you know that I support you and you support me. And it's definitely genuine. You are my big brother. I look up to you. I'm inspired by you. And I definitely can't wait for the real estate collaboration to go forth and teach the world how to rise, reign, and lead through real estate. I'm definitely looking for that and forward to it. So, thank you so much for the opportunity to come on your platform. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Ditto. Don't go away, coach. Hey, to the Mind the Business That Pays You family, we want to thank you for being with us. We have been blessed by the presence of the Queen of the East, and she laid it down, gave us some principles. You can contact her through queenoftheeast.com. And of course, you can contact Coach Mark at www.drmarkholland.com. Bless you, and may you continue to reign and lead, and we'll see you on the next episode. Don't go away, Queen.
All right.